McDowell supremacy is real. And the playoffs, it's going to be a nail biter for some of these drivers heading into the final 2 weeks. We got a lot to unpack from the Indy road course. So let's talk about it. Where to begin? I guess to begin where the title of this video is McDowell supremacy is real. Like, congrats to Michael McDowell. Like, he led a majority of the race. Let's just end in the race review, and then I will give you my thoughts on this. And there were a couple storylines heading in to the race and all that. We had William Byron failing tech, so he's now having to do a drive-through lap 1. Didn't get to qualify, so tough start for the 24 team. Never really recovered. Byron, after starting dead last and serving a drive-through, comes home in 14th, so not a bad day. Very long day for the 24 team. We had 7 different countries represented in this race. Shane Van Gitsberg, we all knew the New Zealander was back. He gets a top 10, you'll see in the top 10 breakdown. 24th, replacing Noah Gragson to give us our 7th. From Germany, Mike Rockefeller came home 24th. Jensen Button from England brings home 28th. Kamui Kobayashi, who was pretty much any incident on track that happened, somehow Kamui was around, comes home 33rd. It was just an interesting day for Kamui. And props to him. I think he could have run better. Well, like, he got tangled up, got hit by Ricky Stenhouse. Like, he just had a rough race. So, the 7 different countries represented, all a mixed bag of day for them. The other storyline heading into today is that if we didn't have a different winner, we would have a driver clinch. Like today, for sure, a driver was clinching. Harvick could clinch if there was no new winners with 44 points. Brad K, no new winner, would clinch if he scored 54. Both of those got chucked out the window because Michael McDowell went, I'm going to lead this race pretty much the entire time and win. At that point, the Harvick and Brad K clinching scenario went out the window. Daniel Suarez started on pole. Outside was Tyler Reddick. 3rd place, William Byron. Michael McDowell started 4th. It was pretty much them. We got 1 full lap in, and then start of lap 2. Joey Logano. Pull the Joey Logano. Well, more on the restart. But going through 5 and 6 where the track narrows for the S, Joey hits the curb, sending Justin Haley into the tire barrier, shearing the right side of Haley's car. Fortunate for Haley, he comes home 38th. Would have been 39th, but looks like Eric Almirola had an issue coming to 2 to go that his car just stopped on pit lane, which was odd. Yeah, Justin Haley, after getting caught up in Joey's mess, comes home 38th. We had everyone running technically, if you consider Eric Almirola running. But we had that caution. And then on the restart, Joey Logano trademarked this a couple years ago, just missing turn 1. He pretty much would have missed it if he didn't run in the back of his teammate, Ryan Blaney. He missed the turn, ran into Blaney, spinning. At the same time, SVG spins Ty Gibbs and the exit of turn 1, which is hilarious. And then from there, the race went green for over 75 laps, pretty much. It was a very, very green race. You had drivers miss like a turn. Towards the end, AJ Allmendinger went off of turn 4 with 5 to go. Kept the car running, got to the pavement, went smooth sailing. Michael McDowell won stage 1. Middle of stage 2, the only real drama was that Ryan Blaney pretty much punted AJ Allmendinger off in turn 14, the last turn, and AJ goes around and says if he gets back to the 12, he's wrecking him. The end of stage 2 was interesting. You had Denny Hamlin, who won the stage, but you had Denny and Brad K on a different strategy, pretty much trying to earn the stage win. But then you had Suarez and McDowell, who pitted in the middle of the stage, going more for the win than stage points, battling them. That in turn 7, Denny went wide. Brad almost went underneath. Brad then goes wide into turn 8. Like, they were just battling hard for the stage win. Honestly, Daniel Suarez had a heck of a day. But final pit stop with, I believe, 35 to go. I forgot to put the lap time on my notes. But Suarez's pit crew dropped the tire on the air hose on the right when they were changing left sides, that they couldn't get the guy to the right side quick enough, and that cost Suarez. He recovered, but instead of Chase Elliott trying to make up a 3-second gap, Suarez would have been a second behind McDowell. That who knows if McDowell would have ran a perfect race. He honestly ran such a clean race that McDowell deserved to win. He was the best car, but we might have had a competitor we would have had a different winner if Trackhouse didn't F up the pit stop, which, from what Steve Letarte said, was not something they could have really figured out. Maybe the tire carrier could have noticed, but oh well. They did point out this fact. So this is Michael McDowell's second career win, which props to McDowell. Like, hard fought. He won the 500, but like it was COVID. Nothing you could really do with COVID that year. But like because of COVID, his family couldn't be there. So this was special to them that this was a race that his family went to, and he won and got to celebrate his second career win with them. But at the 500, the guy who finished second to McDowell is the guy who finished second today, Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott showed speed, but he's now in a must-win. There's no way for him to point his way in. Elliott and Bowman both had excellent days, Bowman being 5th. But they have to win to make the playoffs now. I'm going to throw up the graphic that NBC used. I had to take a picture on my phone, so the right side's a little cut off. I mean, left side. But we're more worried about the right side on the picture. So let's finish this. So McDowell, Elliott, Daniel Suarez, even though they've messed up on pit road, brings home 3rd. Tyler Reddick, top 4. The top 4 all started in the top 4. Like, how do you pull this off, guys? How do you do that? From there, Bowman, nice to see he had speed. This is his, I believe I saw a stat. Let me look for it. So here's the tweet that I wanted to talk about. Today was the first top 10 finish for Alex Bowman since the spring Richmond race. That's 13 races in 133 days. The 48 still needs to win to make the playoffs, but at least Bowman's now showing the speed he had earlier this year. This is the first one caution race since 2012. That last race was Auto Club of 2012, where there was one caution for rain that ended the race at lap 129. The one caution for today was on lap 2. With the elimination of stage breaks, this is Dave Moody's tweet. Today's race only had one caution. That's what the competitors and fans said they wanted. We'll see if they're happy with it. I'm happy. I love that there is no caution, like unnatural caution. It honestly, if we had cautions, I don't think McDowell would have won, because he even said it would have thrown his groove off. Because in these races, you just get in the groove and you're going. But having the whole up now, there's a caution. Newman, my mod, sent me this, but this is a Jeff Gluck tweet. Ford wins in the first 21 races. They only had 2. Ford in the last 3 races have won the past 3 races. So Ford seems to be turning things around at the right time heading to the playoffs. So here are the playoff standings as we head to Watkins Glen and Daytona for the season finale. Harvick here with a 145-point cushion. Brad K with a 143-point cushion. I think even if we have a new race winner next week at the Glen, say Chase Elliott or Alex Bowman win, Harvick and Brad, it's one of you two is going to be in the playoffs. One of these two is making the playoffs. Because if there's a new winner, Bubba can't pass them, Suarez can't jump, Ty can't unless they win. Bubba right now has to be feeling pretty uncomfortable. 28-point cushion with Chase Elliott knocking on the door of another win. Bowman should finally showing some speed. Suarez showing speed too. So right now Bubba's got to be not feeling so good. But Brad and Harvick, things got a little uncomfortable for them. So after seeing how the standings are, what are my thoughts after this race? I don't get me wrong, today's race was very entertaining with all the battles through the field. I'm one of the guys that I want to get back to the oval. I grew up a Jeff Gordon fan, so the oval to me is more prestigious. I know a lot of the drivers want to get back to the oval, but at the same time, I do see the benefits of the road course. Like we wouldn't have Kamui racing, we wouldn't have Jensen Button racing, we wouldn't have SVG, we wouldn't have the Brian guy racing. I know Rockefeller is going to be racing next week at the Glen, but like, why would he come race the Indy Oval for Legacy if he knew it wasn't for him? Like, Rockefeller is an IMSA driver, or was. Like, it's not for him. But personally, I think going to the Oval's best. I'm thinking, like a lot of these other people are, that 1 year oval, 1 year road course, because then it's not going to get stale. We get to maybe draw in a lot of the international drivers to run the road course, but yet we make the Brickyard prestigious. Like next year, promoting it during the Olympics, so that week that the Olympics are over, boom, a crown jewel, and then the following week, oh hey, Daytona. Just an idea on there, bouncing off of some other YouTubers I watched. But McDowell Supremacy, I've heard this a ton listening to the NASCAR Weekly podcast. Those guys do an amazing job over there. But McDowell Supremacy ruled, and honestly, I can't wait to listen to their pod on Wednesday. It should be fun. I think Harvick and Brad, they almost pretty much know one of them is going to make the playoffs. They have to worry of next week. If there's no new winner next week, both of them would be in. I think we would have seen one of them clinch today. But with the whole, we might have 2 new winners and only one makes it, you can't. But if there's no new winners next week at the Glen, both of them are in. And then that 16th seed, Bubba's on the hot seat at Daytona if that's the case of no new winner. But honestly, seeing Chase Elliott, especially that last lap, the last lap and a half, cutting a 2-second deficit to be back by half a second. Chase was coming. He just waited a little too long to push. That 9 car has speed. Chase is definitely pushing that 9 car to get another win. For me personally, and I told Newman this before, like I went recording, if I had my choice on a Hendrick car to make it, I'd rather have the 48. If Bowman can somehow sneak a win at the Glen, I'll be happy. I'd rather have Bowman over Chase. Chase had his chances. He ran the season clean. He could have been up there with Harvick and Brad. He might actually be ahead of Bubba. Oh, wait, let's look at the Coke 600 and him being an idiot. As much as I'm a Hendrick guy, like Chase Elliott, you need to take a year off and not hunt for a championship. You were stupid this year. I'm not blaming him for getting hurt skiing. A freak accident. Would have loved to hit the comeback story there. But then you come back after missing 6 races, and decide to right hook Denny Hamlin in the trial at Charlotte. You don't deserve the playoffs at that point. You ended your race early, and then you missed the following race when you knew you needed points. Bowman had the speed up until Richmond. And then Bowman, freak accident in the sprint cars, breaks his back. Bowman didn't want to be in that situation. His was a freak accident. He hasn't shown the form since returning, but he's starting to get back there. But honestly, being a Hendrick guy, I see 2 cars I'm rooting for, and that's 24 William Byron, who's been dominant. Was the no-show today, but his team kind of let him down. And then Kyle Larson. But if I'm being honest, I want Harvick and Brad K in the playoffs. RFK is making the right turn. They're showing the speed. We just saw Chris Buescher win the last 2 weeks. Like, RFK has the speed. Harvick finally here. I kind of want him to make the Final Four and to have a chance like Gordon did. I don't want him to be like Jimmy Johnson where he misses the playoffs his final year. That's just embarrassing. And Harvick needs the bright spot. Harvick to me is a legend of the sport, and he doesn't get appreciated like a true legend. Like, Harvick carried RCR to where they're at today. We wouldn't have Kyle Busch in the 8. We wouldn't have Austin Dillon in the 3. Even though I wouldn't mind not having Austin Dillon in the 3. But like, Kyle Busch in the 8 would not be a thing if Harvick didn't win at Atlanta and help that team heal. There's word going around that if Harvick didn't perform well that year and get that win, RCR might have shut down. And to think of not having RCR, kind of odd, since RCR was pretty dominant in the middle of 2000 once Harvick got settled in with the team. But looking at the Indy race, let's go instead of the playoff picture now. Let's look at the whole Indy race. Strategy played a key part, which I love. Race was kind of all over the place. I enjoyed it. I still want the oval, but if the road course is where NASCAR feels like is best, I'm fine with it because the racing wasn't horrible. But I think that's going to do it for me today. I've just been rambling the past couple minutes, so thank you for bearing with me as I trailed off into space. Don't know when the next video is going to be up. I am starting my new job on Monday, so I'm not fully for sure on what my schedule is looking like. I will be trying to be streaming more. Podcasts should be up probably Wednesday morning. I'm not confident. I am hoping to have that get recording again on Tuesday. For sure, next Sunday we will have our race review of the Glen, where we will definitely be talking about the playoff clinching scenarios for all the drivers, how the Glen was, previewing Daytona. So if you're new here, please drop a like and subscribe. And I might catch you on Twitch later once this video's up. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Peace!